Hey everyone, I'm Dave from Dave's Ohio Barbecue. Today we are going to be doing turkey. This time though, we're going to be doing it Cajun style. Stick around. So you may have watched a previous video I did where I made turkey in a Thanksgiving style with all the flavors of Thanksgiving that we've grown accustomed to. That's great. But if I'm going to break out the smoker and I'm going to make some turkey, I kind of like to spice it up a bit. So I'm going to try a Cajun recipe that I've never tried before. It's kind of a mixture of several recipes I found online. And I'm going to see how it is and tell you guys what I think. So I bought a 17-pound turkey right after Thanksgiving last year and chucked it in the freezer. I'm going to do half of it in this Cajun style. So the first thing I need to do is split it. Really easy to do if you've never done it. Take a pair of kitchen shears, cut out the backbone, so just down each side of the backbone, and then you take a knife or your kitchen shears and just cut right along the breast, and there you go. You got two halves of a turkey, and then you can do one way, one the other. So the first thing I want to do once I get this turkey cut in half is I do want to dry brine it. If you're not familiar with dry brining, it's a way of salting the bird, getting the moisture to absorb a little better, but without putting it in a big bucket of salt water overnight. So what you want to do is you want to take 1/2 teaspoon of salt per pound of bird that you have. I've got about an 8-pound bird here, so I just sprinkle all the different surfaces with this salt, make sure it's covered evenly, put it in the fridge and let it sit from 12 to 24 hours. I seem to think like 18 to 24 works a little better. What happens when you do this is the salt will actually draw out some of the moisture from the turkey, but then once it's drawn out, it'll get drawn back in to the muscle fibers as salt water. So what it's going to do is it's going to help keep that moisture inside of the meat. It's also going to give it a little bit of flavoring, which is great. Turkey meat tends to get a little dry and not very flavorful, so I'm going to inject this. So the way I did this was I took 14 ounces of chicken stock, I took a 1/4 cup of butter. I took 2 tablespoons of Frank's Red Hot. You can use any type of hot sauce that you like. And then I used 1 teaspoon of Cajun Seasoning, kind of like a Tony Chachere's or something like that. Put it all together into a pot, melted it, mixed it until everything was dissolved, and it was a nice liquid. And then just took my injector and started injecting it all through the breast and the thighs. Anywhere there was enough meat to get a good injection, I shot some of this in there. Now, here's what's in the rub. I'll show you a picture of the ingredients. You can see in that rub it has, pretty much the standard Cajun kind of flavors that are in there. One of the things I used was I'm trying this new rub I picked up. Actually, they sold it at Costco. They tend to have it like every barbecue season. This is the name of it right here. And it's pretty good. I've tried it on some ribs before and it was pretty tasty, so they say you can use it on this, so this is what I'm going to use as my all-purpose rub to mix into this recipe. Now I want to give something on the skin to kind of make it stick, so what I like to use is melted butter. You can use that, you can use cooking spray, any sort of oil that you have, all that'll work fine. I'm going to take some melted butter, brush it all over the surface of this bird, and then I'm going to apply my rub. Okay. Like I said, this was several different recipes I've seen floating around, and I kind of modified it more to my taste. So I'm going to put the rub on there, and I usually like to let it sit for about a half hour or so just to make sure that the rub, kind of gets that wet look to it, because you want it to go on the smoker looking like the rub is really stuck to the bird. So what I'm going to do for smoking this bird is I'm going to use my Weber Smoky Mountain for this one. If you wonder how to light a Weber Smoky Mountain, I've got a video up on my channel about the method I use. It's sort of a modified version of the Minion method. Go watch that once you're done with this. I'll put a link at the end or in the description and you can go find it there. I'm going to set up my Weber Smoky Mountain today with apple chunks, because I like apple chunks with turkey and I think it tastes good. But I'm going to be smoking this kind of at a high temperature. A lot of times you'll see guys smoke a turkey at 250, sometimes even 225. My problem with that is it takes a long time. First of all, it's like about 5 hours, 6 hours to smoke a turkey. And you don't get very good results with the skin. You don't get that bite through skin. You kind of get like a sheet of rubber covering the turkey, and that's not what I want. So when I do turkey, chicken, things like that, I tend to go at a higher temperature. I'm going to go 300 to 325 to smoke this turkey. So I kept it on the Weber Smoky Mountain. I chucked a couple more apple chunks in there as it went on. It wasn't a very long cook. It was a little bit over 3 hours. So not in there very long. So you want to make sure the smoke is going for the whole time so it has a chance to absorb it. You know it's done when the breast meat hits around 160. If you want to be super safe, you can bring it up to 165. Now, if you go on a website or if you go on like the USDA website, they'll tell you 165, 175. You can go a little bit under that and then let the carryover temperature bring it up to that temperature. I find that if I let it go to 175 in the thigh and then take it off and let it sit for a half hour, by the time I'm ready to cut it, it's more like 180, sometimes even closer to 185, and that might dry out your bird a little bit. And there you have it. You can see this thing looks really juicy. It falls apart super easy. Looks delicious. My son and I both loved it. Wife and daughter are not a big fan of spicy things, but my son and I tried it and we both enjoyed it thoroughly. What would I have done differently about this one? I would have put a thinner coat of rub on the skin. You can see in some of those pictures the rub looked a little dried out. The skin looked a little kind of crusty. Not a good look on a turkey. So next time I do this one, I'm going to do a lighter dusting of rub on it. The injection was plenty of flavor for this bird. So if you think you'd like Cajun turkey, try this recipe. It turned out delicious. My son and I loved it. It was even great leftovers, like putting it on a sandwich. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell down there so you get told every time I make a new video. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dave's Ohio Barbecue. I'll be having more videos coming out real soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.